Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Islam, Moorish America, want to rise upon the 7 within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere. And therefore, honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to call forth our beloved scribe, Dr. Marvin Nathaniel Edwards Bay, Consul General of Texas Territory, that he may open up the way as we open up our hearts and minds. Islam.
Islam family, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give our honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give our honors to our Act 1. I give our honors to all of our officials. I give our honors to this class. I give honors to everything that's Moorish. Pardon, sir, I'll be opening our meeting according to law. And I'll begin with our Cometian Adept Moorish American prayer. Ya Allah amnuheru meku neteru. Ya Allah abhetheru. Ya Allah ma'adheru. Ya Allah hotepheru. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'adher kudi. Ya Allah awahjet de juti. Ya Allah patem sutek patem heru. Ya Allah bamaduti. Al hejisle abtuali. Amen. Halius. In transliteration, O Allah, the Father of the universe, O Allah, the Father of love, O Allah, the Spirit of truth, O Allah, the Spirit of peace, O Allah, the Spirit of freedom, O Allah, the Spirit of justice, O Allah, you are my protector, O Allah, you are my guide, O Allah, you are my salvation by the night and by day, O Allah, through your holy prophet, O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Holy Issa. And now, more as I begin reading our divine constitution, Morse America. Salvation, our God, unity. The divine constitution of Morse America. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of Morse America are in power to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of Morse America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Morse America. The bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh. And on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Morse America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Morse American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Morse America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws or in constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slave holders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Morse Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. All citizens, Act 7, all citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Morse America. Morse Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all the necessities of Morse America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Morse Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father, God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be the founder and father of the divine constitution of Morse America. Peace and blessings be upon him. And now that this meeting has been opened according to law in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the Circle 7. And now I would hand this meeting over. I would say to our National Grand Secretary of the State for the reading of our chapter of the week, chapter 68, the beginning of Christianity. Islam.
Gratitude, Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay. Islam Moorishkin, first of all, want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, giving honor to our E.A.R.S class, to all of our family online, our scribes, to Act One, and also to our host, our National Assistant Grand Sheik of Moorish America, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohejet Shepsuel. I'll have a reading of chapter 68, the beginning of Christianity. Every prophet leaves a holy book of guidance for his nationals. Drew Ali's 2 of 4. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Yehoshua of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Yehoshua himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Seeking to redeem his people in those days from the pressure of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, Rome crucified him according to their law. Then Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad I came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Yehoshua of Nazareth. The holy teaching of Yehoshua was to the common people, to redeem them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor, also that the lion and the lamb may lay down together and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the Ten Commandments. Through the Ten Commandments, the rulers and the rich live, while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people, the lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. And at this time, we want to turn the meeting back into the hands of our National Assistant Grand Sheik, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohejet Shepsuel, as host. Peace and love.
Islam, can you hear me, family?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Gratitude. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Moorish America. Want to rise upon the seven within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God, Allah, Father God, Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj, Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Egyptian ADEPTUS Research Sultanate session. I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Amohadi Shabazel, and my ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohejet Shepsuel. And we got a grand and most magnanimous class, in session to bring forth to our family this morning. We want to encourage our family to like, share, and subscribe as it relates to this particular session. And we are going into the book of Tahotep, the oldest book of the world, and we look forward to everything it is that our scribes have to bring forth. And I even have something to bring forth, mashallah, in support of our scribes. So without further ado or delay, we're going to go on ahead and get this demonstration, up and running. Like I said, be sure if you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed already, do so, because we got a magnanimous lesson and blessing. We're going into the text now, family. This is what most of our people been waiting for. And so we look forward to, the measures that our scribes had to bring forth. Islamism without the schism. All right. So who's going to be our first scribe to come forth and come on up in here? and let our family see what it is that you brought for.
Islam.
Islam. I just want to know, man, were the tools good? Did the master key work, brother?
I used the master key, and I didn't get to the other part where you took where we had to take the manuscript on it, but that first part, it made it lightning fast to decipher or to get the breakdown. So
wow, that's good to hear.
So I'm gonna share screen real quick.
Okay, it's not.
Let me get this one. Entire screen. Where's that? There it goes. Bang bang. Okay.
We got you in the queue. Let me expand the screen a little bit.
Yes, long.
We gave you the full screen.
Okay.
We're gonna make sure they get a front row seat. It's long.
Let me take this off. Okay, and it really hit. When you're having a bounce from screen to screen, it's kind of. Pardon me. First, I'd like to rise and give all manner of praise to Allah. Honors to the Prophet, honors to our theocratic government, our royal council, our flag, seal, emblem, our divine constitution, our swift angels, muftis, citizens alike, honors to all the Moors that are here in attendance, all the ones in the sound of my voice, and for honors to our E.A.R.S class and our professor on this occasion, Dr. Shedu Amenti and Mohadi Shabazir, and all the other scribes in attendance. And it says, give a brief background description on the book of Ta-Hotep, its origins. I think I might have misunderstood this a little bit, but and then it says to use our Hieratic master key and your Aku and the Hierat, I forgot how to pronounce that, but the PD tool and the slate tools to reverse engineer anaglyphs of your choice back into the Mediterranean command Hieratic concerning the teachings of the Papyri of Prissy, aka the book Ta-Hotep. And 3, use the manuscript attached to the email to aid you in task of the transliteration, either 7 words or lines of your choice. And when I was going over that Papyrus of Prissy, it and this is what I put. I said I think that Kemet had a modality and was methodical on how they went about the anaglyphs, because they could define, because you couldn't. That's what I meant to say. Because you couldn't just define anything, but aspects of a metaphysical reference to cardinal forms. So it was really a spiritual thing to look at. It says, so these purveyors with their insidious acts have been religiously trying to mask the genius of our ancestors by posing as if they demystified this and clearly still don't have a clue. And since Ta-Hotep was one of the oldest, and I think I have the book, I just don't, I'm unable to locate it. But I think that from what I've read so far, the book of it kind of reminds me of the Hermetica, going back into those type teachings were more so of aspects to conquer yourself. If I'm correct, my mind's kind of foggy on that aspect, but that's what I got from there. And I don't think that even when they try to, they try to decipher things and they put in pictures or what have you to it, that they don't really get the full. You're not really getting the full narrative of what the ancestors were trying to do. So you're only getting this, this remix version that really is doing more harm, especially because they tore the papyri up. Like, why would you tear something that you can't even understand up into pieces to spread it out? And if you knew that it was, if it was of that importance, you would try your hardest to keep something of that quality together, because of you don't have the ability to decipher, And so this is The second part of that after we gave our brief background on description of the book of Ptah-hotep, was to use the Hieratic master key and your Aku HPD slate tool to reverse engineer the anaglyphs of your choice back into the Mediterranean Kemet Hieratic concerning the teachings of the Papyrus of Prissy, or the book of Ptah-hotep. And this is I pretty much flew through this when I was going over the this. Where's that document at? I don't know if I'm able to share this. When I went back over this document here, and it's crazy because it really puts all those things in line. Islam?
I don't know whether it's mic screen or what, but I don't see anything. I hear you talking, but are you displaying something?
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Oh,
you must have you must have clicked the button.
He knocked it off. Put it back in queue, brother Batube. I think when you switch screen, you might have hit a button. Because I had you full screen wide open.
Yeah,
he was blasting.
Huh. Okay. Share screen. There we go.
Okay, we got you back in there, brother Islam.
All right. And so when we were going over this key right here, this was it made things way simpler. Because if you got all the information that's really spread out amongst those tools like the German, the DP tool, the Aku, and there was another one, the DB tool and the slate. It's spread out so far that you would have to. It's almost unnerving. So the fact that it's centralized in one document, that you can you see the transliteration of pretty much all the alphabets and how they've seen it. Even down here where they got these, like the eagle, and they do this, but we know this is a spiritual form, and the actual writing itself, which we go into here, is the Hieratic, which is the actual alphabet. It what I'm saying, it just makes it that much easier. So now I'm going to go into the document, and from here, I didn't really. So I said, I didn't really get this one understood because I couldn't find that one anywhere. So I did from left to right, and I started with the third because I didn't see. I think that might be an H, but I'm not sure. I don't know what that is. But the third one I have as an A, and I said I would like to say the third one. What is this? I said I have this as an F right here, but it's distorted, so I don't know. I said, but the fourth one is I have as an A, the fifth as an M. This eighth is a bilateral, and I couldn't identify this one up here, but then I identified this as the sh. That's this one. That's the sh. Where is? I didn't do this one. Okay. This one and this one I have as some reason I said this one was like the W, and this made a long A sound because you see the format of the A. Which, let me see if I can bounce back to that screen without it. You see this right here. Where's it at? I'm gonna go down to yours, the one that you did with the color. Right here. And see, where is it at? Let me see if I can enlarge this screen. Where's the W? So that's why I put that W. Well, this one, I'm not sure why I picked the W on that one, but that one next to it, the eighth one, I believe, is the SH or the S. Going back to it, I have, and this made the long A sound. And we know that this was the A. There's different variations of it, but that's what it holds to. I think this would be a bilateral because it has a extra line going through it, but I don't know what this is trying to speak to. I have this one as an M, and this is a bilateral SH. I couldn't identify this because I really didn't understand what that was conveying. I know that this is I have as a H. This is no, this is a H. Where did I put that? Hold on 1 second. And that's a K. That's what I forgot to put on there. That was a K. So it has SHK, which is shek. And then I couldn't identify this. So this says H. This is SH. This is another character I was unable to identify. This is H. This is K. This is SH. Couldn't identify that one. This is a bilateral, which was I think I said N over. No, this is M over T or M over N, because I wasn't able to really get. I think that's an N though, or which so men, and then I have this one as being net N over T right here, and that's a bilateral. And I was going to do this one right here, but I didn't have the time to really get into that, because this would be where I would have to bounce back from those Aku tools, getting into the this whole demonstration here. So, but that is my measure on, or what I have from what I understood from the assignment. Islam.
Islam and gratitude, praise be to Allah. And yeah, that's a grand drawing on the amount that you put in. And we'll definitely go a little further into the measure and dealing with a lot of those signs you have. Most definitely the indicators. Really, we don't never really transliterate them, so they just really dividers and markers. Remember, we come up with that in our last measure, and we found out the methodology. But we're gonna get further into it, because I'm gonna probably do Dendra portion of it, with what I got to bring forth, and it's gonna definitely add on to the measure. So Islam, next scribe.
Islam,
Grand National Secretary of State. You was up till 7, 8 o'clock at this morning like me?
No, well, actually 5:30, because I had to come back from Maryland to here.
Oh man, and still do the lesson. Goodness.
Yes, sir.
Woo, y'all hear that, right? Man, our scribe dedicated.
Ain't nobody playing, all right? Ain't nobody playing.
That's a good little ride too. I done made that trip before.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, you have. Having already. Say it again, Mo.
No, I was saying Islam.
Praise Allah. Having already risen, giving praise and honor, we're due, and much honor to our scribe, Dr. Bati Bey, Consul General of Iowa, for bringing forth our grand measure. I'm going to share my screen. Do you see it?
It ain't came in queue yet.
All right, let me try. I think I missed a step. Hold on.
Islam. Yeah, you probably got to hit the video where it comes.
And my cursor acting crazy. Oh boy, come on.
Rome better stop it.
I tell you.
They just got everybody apparatus going crazy.
Woo. Okay. All right, let me try this again. It looks like my system is frozen. Hold on.
What?
Can you see anything at all? Because I have it on the thing that says entire screen, but I don't see the share.
You got to you got to hit that.
All right, I see it again.
Okay.
Good gracious.
Oh, there we go. I was going to say, what?
Stop it. Stop it.
It's Lord.
Woo.
We got you to put you in here, okay? We got to hear from our Grand Secretary of the State.
By playing.
Yeah, that's right, Born Dog. Yeah, man, we equal in here. We equal up in here. The goddesses, you see, this Scribe is here. Watch your work, Born Dog. Islam.
All right. So I had to end up doing a Word document as opposed to the PowerPoint because PowerPoint screen wasn't big enough. So our assignment was to give a brief background description on the Book of Ptah-hotep, its origins, etc. Use our Hieratic master key and your AKU database slay tools to reverse engineer anaglyphs of your choice back into the Medu, Ray, and Kemet or Hieratic concerning the teachings of the papyri of Prissy, aka Book of Ptah-hotep. Use the manuscript attached to this email to aid you in your task to transliterate and translate either 7 words or lines of your choice. So in reference to the first one, dealing with the origins and brief description, I actually pulled from what was the introduction on the papyri in reference to the various versions. The maxims of Ptah-hotep redefine hieroglyphic transcriptions, what Rome did. Of every source are provided, commentaries to the previous editions are offered, and a synoptic table is created in a new format to enable the comparative analysis of the versions. All right, and then we look at, they speak about these updates or different versions. A big number of previous publications contain dozens of inaccuracies. So here again, we have Rome stating that all of these transcriptions basically are inaccurate in some form or other. He does get some specifics in reference to comparing 2 of the authors. The publication of this volume has been delayed for many years, while another, not that part. Hold on, Moorish Ken. The manuscripts differ substantially. Line order varies. A number of sentences in the papyri Prissy has no parallels in other sources. A verse consisting of 2 sentences in one source can be found divided in the other. So accordingly, a serious discrepancy arises and abruption of the text occurs. They speak about verses 1 and 4 are parts of the same sentence in the papyri Prissy, but were divided into different verses. So it speaks about, that's just a comparison between these 2 presentations of the version. And as far as the book itself, because I do have the book as well, they're basically wisdom teachings, coming out of ancient Kemet by Ptah-hotep. Now, the line that I took was found on page 19, line, it was line 13, verse 3 or something to that effect. It was this. All right, now these are the anaglyphs, and we know that these are dealing with formulas. They're not letters. They're representing people, places, and things of that nature. So we were to reverse what the remix that Rome did. And I hope that I did this correctly, because I started with this one, all right, which is in essence the letter D, and that's the hieratic letter right there that I found in Poe. I also went to the database, which you see the letter D, even though it has this anaglyph here, you also see the different versions of comparing the dynasties of the letter D. So I did this with every anaglyph here. All right. So, and there were some duplicates. This one is also D, but it's JED, DJ. And this is the hieratic for it. This is how it was presented in SLAY, which SLAY gives the Unicode as well, I-10. And they are also confirming in the database the hieratic letter. The next one, this is actually the F. And Rome will tell you this looks like a horned viper, but in the database, it also reflects this here, depending upon the dynasties. The next symbol up top is actually the S, and the database confirms that that is the S. And you see the various development dealing with the dynasties. This symbol is the H. That was found in Poe, and also I went to the ancient Kemetic dictionary as well, because this can also be sound shifted to an X. When we look at this, that is actually that anaglyph. Well, it's actually the letter R, which reflects R in the database. And they also have this listed as a determinative with the Unicode of Y1. Now, this is what looks or appears to be a scroll as the anaglyph shows. All right. The determinative, and you just stated that, Dr. Shahid, in reference to we don't basically get meanings from that. I did use that when I was dealing with my transliteration as far as Majet. Okay, that again we have as the F. This symbol is the S, and it's also reflective in the database. R, which is a duplicate because we showed that previously. This is actually the letter W, and it can also be sound shifted to U. That also is reflected in the database. They want to say this anaglyph is a quail chick. This is a determinative because they had these two forms. And in this one, I went to the Aku tool, and you have different, like Gardenia and E.A.R.S Budge, where they have different sign lists. And I actually stumbled upon something in the Aku tool where they had a Tho sign list as well, to help me try to find some of these anaglyphs. Now, this one they said is a seated man representing male occupations, personal names, first person, masculine, singular, suffix pronoun. But they still classified it as a determinative. And that one was dealing with the seated man. This one was dealing with the man with the stick. And this they pulled as a logogram or a determinative, man with holding a stick. That's the Unicode that they have for this special character here. We've seen this. That's a duplicate R. Now, I think I missed one. Oh, no, here it is. This is an A. But they're trying to say this is a hand or an arm. That is also a duplicate, which we said was the F. This symbol, I went to the database on that, and also Poe. They're stating it's a logogram, or I forget what the P is. I had it written down. Unicode is S43. This and this. And you can see that here in the database as well. This is a duplicate. Now this is in essence the T. And you see that here in the database is reflective of the T and the various developments in the dynasties. We've seen this one before, the seated man, which they are declaring as a determinative. And this one, determinative, the face, they also have HR, which I saw as Heru. That determinative showing duality, this one, they had IM, M, or GS. And I used the IMI, Emmy. And that's coming from the database. What they call a read, this is actually Y or I or possibly J. Database listed as Y. That's a duplicate again. These two strokes are symbolic of duality. And you notice they are diagonal strokes. I also, when I was going through Poe, the two straight sticks can be symbolic of duality as well. This one they have as RY. You know that this is the R. And then again, the two strokes showing Y. Now it's coming from the database. This is another duplicate, This, they listed as BW, or a place where the foot is. This is the actual hieratic letter, Unicode being D58, and the letter, hieratic letter of B. This symbol, this anaglyph, actually Unicode F46 is, now that looks like Cobb. Oh, and this one, when I did the transliteration and translation, I pulled out Merkaba. And you see in the database, it has KAB, Cobb. Now, the anaglyph of what they determine as the walking legs, that's a determinative. They also had some letters down here, which I did use in my transliteration, which is to follow. Again, that's the S. This square, Unicode Q3, they had symbolic of the letter, hieratic letter P. Now this circle, and I went through Slay. I think I pulled this from Poe. But I did see a couple more rounds of that in the database, which they say is Sun. We know that this is Heru, Unicode N5, and this supports also Ra, R-A. That little, what looks like an apostrophe is A. So this did have like a circle in a circle. So that's what I took as that particular symbol here. And this one is actually the hieratic letter K. Also, the database reflects the same, dealing with the dynasties. Now, as far as the transliteration, I put all of those, what they marked as letters, and what they had as determinatives. I did use what they pulled out, so that might be incorrect. But Djef, Sheshesh, Medet, Fesru, because we know W and U are interchangeable. Roth, which they had listed as a determinative. MDW, I put MD, MED, Medu. The DT. Then we had the determinatives of the seated man, which again I called as Heru, HR Heru. They also had as definition main chief, and those two ones, duality. Emmy is what I placed down there for that. Now, this double I, because we know that I and Y and J are also sound shifting with that. I had down here, I used Ari. Now that MKB, I termed as Merkaba. That TWT, I interchanged the W with the U. I pulled out Tut, the Ra, and the Heru again. And these are my translations. And I actually went to the ancient Egyptian dictionary and put these letters in to see what they would come up with. The DD is recitation. The Madat is a papyri or letter. Ra, dealing with the father of creation. Medu, words. Madat, speech or words, coming from Heru, which they listed as either head, chief, and I also place attribute of God, dealing with healing and protection. Now that Emi, which was coming off the determinative, giving place or cause to and belonging to me. The Eri, thereof or relating to. And the DB, I placed the I in front of it. Idebi or Debu, riverbank, or the two banks of Kemet. I looked at it as the upper and lower Egypt. And then the MKB, I put Merkaba, which is divine love. We know the MR is symbolic of more, Mary, Ka, spirit, and Ba, soul. So that's my assignment. Gratitude.
Ooh-wee.
Islamism, praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism, on bringing your measures forth, most powerful measure. And, our people don't know, she just pointed out, that there were many different inaccuracies in the original transliterations that these people were bringing forth. In fact, we're going to touch on some of that in a minute. We're going to get on that. And a lot of people don't know that there's a concept of transcription, which we were, you see, they reverse engineered. They have taken these particular measures. No, we're not saying we translating the glyphs. What we're doing is we reverse engineering what they done come up with. And a lot of the stuff they came up with is inaccurate, as it's stated in her previous measures. And what we are doing is correcting, these things. And we're going to bring forth the measure. I'm going to show you in a minute what we're doing, once I put my measure up here. But dealing with the concept of reverse engineering, you have to understand what happened. So transcription is when you take a picture and you turn the picture into an alphabet. That's what the European did. And that started during the 19th century. Prior to that, there was no transcription, of pictures. This was during the 1800s, basically. When they started taking the pictures and making them correspond with the hieratic. This was not the original way of the Egyptians. They didn't do that. So transcription is where they reverse engineered those pictures and turned them into hieratic alphabets. And that's why it's a lot of errors and inaccuracies along the way. But if you've never seen the original facsimile, which I'm going to show you in a minute, then you'll go for what they told you. But we got the original facsimile, of the document, and it's written in hieratic. It's not written in what we call hieroglyphs. We got to remember, hieroglyphs are what we call sacred carvings, or sometimes they say holy impressions. It's not writing. These things were impressed in wet mud, basically. So what you seen the scribe doing, or the scribes rather, she was actually showing you corrections by taking the pictures, and going back to the true essence, which is the actual hieratic. What I've been telling y'all the whole while, because they buried the hieratic up under the pictures. We know good and well a lot of those signs don't correspond with that. So I'm finna bring clarity in a minute. Trust me when I tell you that. Even further. But like I said, this started in the 19th century. They just told you, that there were many inaccuracies. I'm gonna show you the inaccuracies, in the book. I'm gonna show you some stuff that's finna blow y'all mind in a minute. And we're gonna remove all doubt. So gratitude, Grand. That's the Secretary of the State. You did a grand job. And we look forward to seeing more work brought forth, mashallah. I already know you're going to really get off into it for real now. And this is what's going to refine our methodology even more. Our methodology is on point, but it's going to only get greater, by actually going into this hieratic like we've been doing. Praise be to Allah. So, okay, let us call forth our next scribe, Dr. Marvin Nathaniel Edwards Bey, so that he may present his particular message. Islam, scribe.
Islam, gratitude for calling me. Well, at this time, I'm not going to say waste any time, because I didn't, go into it in any depth. You know what I mean? I looked at the manuscript and I can see that they were pretty much explaining what they couldn't do or what they didn't do. So, I mean, that's just me. You know what I mean? And I may be considered rebellious. I don't know. But yeah, so that's how I looked at that. And as far as, I mean, you got the tools to do exactly what you wanted us to do. And I can see that, you know what I mean? But I think I went straight to the papyri. And so basically, I'm looking at it that I want to, and maybe I have, maybe I need to go through this exercise in order to get a better understanding of the papyri. But, I see the European and all of their interpretation and misinterpretations, and it just seemed to me like, I mean, that just mean going through things just spending time dealing with what they misinterpreted, when man, I can go within and go straight to the papyri and get what was meant from me from the ancestors. I mean, this is just me. I might be making excuses. Praise Allah, I'm not. But I think the scribes did a marvelous job. I mean, our National Grand Secretary of State, of course, she's the advanced scribes. And Dr. Bati Bey, that was powerful. I mean, I'm learning. Just like the audience is learning. But like I say, I'll reserve my interpretations for the papyri is concerned, as we go along, because I really want to, see what you come up with them, because you're more on point, you've been at this for years, and I'm still striving, and I'm just gonna say I'm just grateful for being here to be a witness to this transformation, so to speak. Gratitude, God, man. Islam and peace.
Gratitude for your presence, grand man. Yes, sir. And we definitely gonna make it plain as plain can get. And we got some measures that's finna, like I say, it's finna remove all doubt and show you what's been going on, to all of our Moorish kin, so that they will see what we mean when we say what we say. I'm actually sending something. I had took pictures out of the actual book, of our brother Asher Hiller. His version that we are more familiar with, the yellow book. And that's really just a excerpt that he have in his particular work. But when I tell you we're going to bring you some clarity, and this is going to be a very powerful measure right here to add on to what it is that our family have already brought. I'm just getting these pictures up in here because I'm going to have to send them to my, I'm sending these to my, my computer from my phone real quick. It ain't nothing, just a few to go into this, but I got a measure already ready, locked and loaded, so to speak, to get to our family as well. So let me hit that button. Oh, okay, there we go. Wait till finish uploading that. Okay, so there we go right there. So let me get that in the queue and open it up, and then we're going to go deeper into this measure right here. We're going to cover a little ground real quick and give you even more clarity and support what the scribes have already set out here thus far. You already know we ain't gonna just show it to you. We ain't dealing with lookership. We gonna put this demonstration out there. We gonna tell you, and we gonna show it to you. I told you and I showed you. That's our motto. So let me do this real quick. I'm just trying to download these pics real quick because they are not a part of my slide. And then I'm finna share my screen for y'all, and we going in. All right, we going to get them, y'all. Let me see here. Okay, one more. That's just the title, so our people know the book. And yeah, there we go, right there. So let me share the screen real quick so we can get to work over here. All right, and let me know, Morris Ken, when y'all see. I'm gonna just share my entire screen because I'm gonna be in a few places. Okay, it's look like my screen done started to share. I ain't putting nothing up there yet, but y'all see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, gratitude, Islamism without the schism. Okay, so first and foremost, to remove all doubt, I want to show you two different things. I'm going to show you this one first before we even go there. This, my people, is the document, you know, and it ain't strange. You know, this particular document here, as you can see the name up there, you already know you're dealing with some German. You know, and most of the books that are found, you know, in these particular text family, what we have found, look at what it says right here. From the very beginning, it says this paleographic research devoted to the hieratic manuscripts of the maxims of Tahotep. So that's another name for it, as our Grand Secretary of State pointed out. Redefine hieroglyphic transcription. That lets you know automatically. Redefined transcriptions of every source are provided. Commentaries to the previous editions are offered, and a synoptic table is created in a new format to enable the comparative analysis of the versions. The study follows the photos and facsimiles of the sources from the 19th and 13th centuries BC, right? You know, and then, like I say, a lot of these things, they actually get into showing you certain measures, family. They be admitting certain things. We're going to get into this right here because it took a minute for me to find the actual facsimile. You know, facsimile is the original, you know, source material, you know, which was not hieroglyphics. You understand? Now, this is said to be the oldest book in the world. Now, listen to what they say, right? The current volume in the Egyptian text series is devoted to a literary ancient Egyptian composition well known since the what that is, I want to say 19th century, Maxims of Tahotep. In the present case, it is a newly made critical publication of all sources given separately. The need for an updated, redefined edition is based on the fact that a big number of previous publications contain dozens of inaccuracies. We're going to reiterate what our Grand Secretary of the State said. So they're letting you know right here. That's what I like about these books from Russia and the ones from France, because they'll tell you that these alphabet charts was created as pseudo hieroglyphs, and they wasn't the original thing that the Egyptians had. Only when we come over into the English, and that's all we know, that they begin to give you the narrative like hieroglyphics is alphabets. But if you go into these ancient sources, rather classical sources, they ain't really ancient. If you go into them, these people tell you the truth. They tell you when they came up with these different methodologies and created. And see, that's the problem. They thought, well, let's say Rome didn't foresee social media coming on the manifest and everybody being able to have access to this information, to where now, you know, we begin to go into the original documents in the text. They didn't see us being able to go into German language and German language being translated and us getting our hands on this. You see what I'm saying? You know, somebody can tell you anything when you don't know what's being said there, but they're telling you there were dozens of inaccuracies. And this is what I've been arguing the whole while now. It say both papers could be considered as first part of the in-depth research. The publication of this volume has been delayed for many years, while another larger project on the Memphite priestly families under the Ptolemies, there you go, was undertaken and followed by a series of other studies dealing with a fair amount of ancient documents. In recent years, favorable opportunities for a closer examination of the text have arisen, in addition to the Century-old black and white facsimiles color photos of the London papyri have become available. Critical notes in the current study are mainly related to the paleography and deal only partly with the philological aspects. It says, I specify the mistakes which have occurred in the earlier editions with no references to the works where they have been discussed by other researchers, as it has been already done in aforesaid articles. It should be stated that in a certain number of my previous observation goes against the original text. So in other words, what he found go against the original text. Now this is somebody dealing with hieratic. It says, which is more distinct in photos. The quality of the modern digital images is much better than that of the black and white facsimiles. Especially, it concerns the indication of verse points and deciphering faint ligatures. In other words, something that they couldn't really make out. These people made up things. And in certain aspects, they actually went in there and changed what was said. Not only did they cut the papyri up and desecrate it, like the brother Bati Bey said, because they was originally long scrolls, that would probably go stretch up to a, pretty good distance, probably half a football field, some of this stuff, but they cut it up in sections. So that's one strike against what these people were doing. You done went in there, cut the sacred document up. You know what I mean? And just to make it to where you can get in there and try to do some remixing and reverse engineering the language into pictures. Therefore, the current commentaries are enriched by dozens of new notes. There are no doubts that E. Duvall's synoptic addiction with the sources arranged in columns is more favorable for study than that of Zaba, who gave a copy of sequent line. We ain't never heard of some of these people right here. These are, again, your people from Germany. We done heard of Moeller. We done heard of, Gardenia. We done heard of Allen, James P. We done heard of all these different individuals, but we ain't heard of some of these guys. The Maxims of Tahotep is very likely the only literary composition cited more often by verses after E. Devoe. Now, remember, this is the oldest document found. Some dated to like 4,700 years ago. Some say 4,500, because they say it's actually 2,500 BC. So when you add that to, the amount with Christ, 2,000 years from us, then that goes into, around that time. Sometimes they say 5,000 years old, but this is supposed to be the oldest actual attested text, this book that we talking about right now. You know what I mean? So anyway, it says, therefore, a large number of discussions of the text contain references to the verses in particular. However, the numbering introduced by E. Devoe and Zizaba should be reconsidered for a score reasons. The manuscripts differ substantially. Line order varies. You heard our Grand Secretary bring this up. We finna show you what she was talking about. A number of sentences in the Papyri of Prissy has no parallels in other sources. And I'm going to show you this in a minute now. A verse consisting of two sentences in one source can be found divided in the other. Accordingly, a serious discrepancy arises, and it says the abruption of the text occurs, e.g. verses 1 through 4 are parts of the same sentence in the Papyri of Prissy, but were divided into different verses. In this case, E. Devoe's presentation of the text is more comprehensible than that of Zizaba, since in the publication by E. Devoe, verses 2 through 3, which are non-existent in Papyri of Prissy, have been overlooked owing to the text arranged in columns. So they're saying that something was added in there that wasn't even there. You know what I mean? Like, goodness gracious. And it goes on and on and on and on, telling you this right here. And they say the Russian translation of the didactic composition, oh man, they go into all of it, fam. It's terrible. That's all I can say. It's terrible how bad, they have done the works of our ancestors. You see what I'm saying? And so I want to go to that one part here. Let me see. Okay. It's talking about a brief survey of the Hieratic and main Hieratic editions of the Maximum Ptahhotep hieroglyphic transcriptions for the papyrus P made in the 19th century are not listed. So they're telling you that, there are certain measures that were actually made during the 19th century. They're showing you when they was transcribed and everything, and it had nothing to do with the ancient Egyptians. This stuff was made long after the ancient Egyptians. So that in and of itself should just kill the whole conversation. So they go into all of the different facsimiles in here. Give me a second. We're gonna get down here to them in a second. I'm just brushing over a lot of this right here so that y'all can, get some insight into the background and the history. Reiterate what our Grand Secretary of the State had put out here. They talk about where a lot of them are, the different places. They got the right here, different references they making. Man, this is crazy. It's going in everything about the hieroglyphic copies of the Ostraka transliteration in the German translation, literary compositions, papyri presented in hieroglyphic transcription, disputable in some cases. So yeah, they're letting you know. Now, this is what we're getting at. Now, I'm glad they put this in here because y'all think I be making this stuff up. You see what they call this? Hieroglyphic transcriptions. In other words, it was originally a hieratic papyri, but they made it into pictures. That's what we call reverse engineering, people. Let's look up the word transcription real quick so our people can see. I want to go to this tab here because it's better to go here. Let's see here. Oh, we finna go down through that, family. And then I'm gonna show you my transliteration of a few lines. Okay, so let's see. We ain't talking about transcription of the DNA now. I done put that in there. Let me see meaning. I just want to put it here, give us a basic background. So y'all know what transcription is, those who don't know. A written or printed representation of something. So in other words, it's not the original. The action or process of transcribing something, right? An arrangement of a piece of music, a different instrument, voice, and them of these, transcription, family. So when you take a transcription, let's go here. Maybe someone left a message on your voicemail and you had to write it down on paper. Or maybe you took notes in a class and rewrote them neatly to help you review. These examples show transcription, a process in which information is rewritten. Problem is, when they rewrote what they wrote, they didn't put it up there in the original form. They rewrote it and took it out as its natural form. So this is the hieroglyphic transcription of the papyrus, and it is not in the right order that everything else is normally in, so to speak. Or let's just say it's not in the right order that the original facsimile in the hieratic is. So I want you to look at this. These lines I transliterated right here. And I'm going to go into these in a minute. But I just want to show you. Rome did this during the 19th century. They didn't create these pictures. That's not what I'm saying. What they did is they took these pictures and replaced the original hieratic language with these pictures. How do I know this? Let's go to the source. Le Papyrus Prissy, right? Et Severities. And I'm going to tell you who this is. This is the person who they give credit for finding the papyrus. So anytime somebody have some papyrus in Kemet, or they come and get it and bring it over here, then they name it after those people. So this is called the Papyrus Prissy, but in the text, they say, well, this is the book of Ptahhotep. So there were those who dealt with the hieratic and knew exactly what they was doing, so to speak. So here it is right here. This is the original facsimile right here. And notice that's in a total different language. And I do know that we can go into Google Books and translate what's being said up here. I want to go back over this and read this a little bit more but I'm more concerned with the actual papyri itself right now, and I want to show y'all the original facsimile as opposed to what you have. So this is the original document. How can you tell just by looking at it? You can tell by looking at it because you can see this is papyri right here. This is the original document. These are not pictures. And see, this is what I've been trying to tell y'all. And what's even worse about this stuff, I'm going to go back to that other document in a minute and show you some crazier stuff. You know, this is why I keep telling y'all, running behind them dudes talking about they teaching the Medu, they don't know nothing about this Hieratic. So if you don't know about this, and this is the original facsimile, the source material of the papyri of Ptahhotep, then you just going off somebody else's interpretation and regurgitating what they said. But me and the scribe, we done took a deep dive into this document. We're going to be in it. We're going to be really vetting the whole thing. I'm finna show you the errors that was demonstrated in a minute. One I caught off rip in the very first word I was reverse engineering back into the thing. Now, first and foremost, this is the first page right here. See if line 1 through 9, right? Page 2. But when I did the deep dive, I found out that this is not the same page 1 that is actually presented in the book of Ashahilla, nor the other books that are dealing with it. I also seen how a lot of this stuff is convoluted and a lot of stuff is added in that don't even exist in the text, period. I'm finna show this to y'all now. We finna make this so plain right here. You'd be crazy to go against it, right? So this is supposed to be the first page. I want y'all to keep that in mind. This is supposed to be the first page now. But come to find out, in my looking, and the only way I can find this out is by having some insight into, you know, this actual text. See this here? All this is hieratic, people. See what it say down at the bottom too, so y'all don't think I'm making this up. This is the actual papyri of Prissy himself, the man they named it after. Do you see any pictures in here? No, that's hieratic. This is what we call metal rate and commit. And yes, we know how to go in there. There's words jumping out at me right now, but I ain't trying to go into that right there just yet. There's a lot of ligatures that I can learn, but it's a lot of words that I can see in the sentences right now. And we're going to get into that in a minute. We're going to show you something that they ain't did. So here it is right here. This is actually the main page right here. This line here is way down here on page 4. This is actually the line that they have over here. And this is how it's supposed to start off. Every book start off with this particular line right here. But why is it in the true papyri? Why is it way on page 4? Why is it on way on page 4? Because somebody been tampering with something. That's why. So I keep telling y'all, look at here. Let's go further. This is all the book of Ptahhotep now. This is the oldest book in the world. These are the maximums of Ptahhotep. You know, and I know my scribes probably see things that's jumping out at them just there. You know, and this is all it. And you can see they cut it in half. They cut the papyri, you know, they did it and put it in this form here. So look here. Look at all that now. This is the original book. This is the original facsimile, source material. I got to keep emphasizing that right there. You know, and I bet you can't nobody get up in here that claim they know Medu and come up in here and read this and tell you what none of it say. You know what I mean? I seen them. I did see your boy and them over there, you know, trying to get into it. And, you know, they basically was having a hard time, you know, so they trying to get into it. But me and the scribes, we done already come up with a methodology. So anybody that come up, you know, behind us, they using our methodology. You know, we the first one to come forth and do this right here and do it right, you know, coming from the ancestors. So again, look at all these papyri. I want to make sure y'all see this. This is the original. What them pictures at? What them hieroglyphics at is what I want to know. No, the hieroglyphics came later after these Europeans came and tried to take symbols they felt like lined up with certain pictures. Because remember, look at all these symbols right here, family. Y'all remember we was talking about Senzor too. You can see the Senzor effect in here. But look at all of these symbols. Quite naturally. And I was telling y'all this before. You know, if we took a symbol and then tried to identify with certain things, right? And say, for example, I'm gonna do this right here. Look at this symbol right here, right? If I wanted to say this might be the Neptune symbol in the zodiac glyphs, if I ain't mistaken. Let me see. I ain't seen them in a minute. Let's see. Let me see. I'm gonna see if this the one. It's been a minute. It may be another symbol, but I think it's the no, it ain't the Neptune. What's that other symbol? Some of them had a ball on. Let me see. I'll show y'all the one it is. It's been a minute since I seen this joker here. I'm gonna show you the one I'm talking about though. Okay. He had another one. Is it this one here? They opening up everything other than what I'm trying to get them no more. Goodness gracious. What in the world? See, that's why I don't like going into this particular page right here. I like to go to my other page. Got many different ones up here, but let's see if I can get into the wheel. Why is it? Okay, I see what it's doing. Okay. So sometimes, you know, based on who drawing these things, right? This particular symbol right here, they will have like a loop on it. And that's a Sagittarius symbol right there, as a matter of fact. But just saying, if I were to use the example and I say, okay, well, that's Sagittarius right there, right? And I said that this was basically the Sagittarius symbol. It'll look real convincing, right? Because it looks similar to this particular demonstration. See the little cross piece right there? You got the circle right here. We're going to go back over here. I'm going to try to blow it up. But we'll do it this way right here because they just ain't on. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's just say, and they got it up here on this side here. Like I say, sometimes they'll have the symbol over here and they have a little circle on it. But nevertheless, you see the little cross piece. If it was pointing, you know, with the arrow pointing down and it was upright, so to speak, then this symbol, if I wanted to try to say, yeah, well, that's the same as this right here, you know, and then I could do the same thing with other pictures, you know, and look at certain things up here and say, well, that represents the letter K right there. That represents the letter L, you know, and I start doing, oh, this is a top hat right here. You know, come on, man. This is basically what they did. You know, they took different symbols. You know, I could say, well, this is a 3, even though I know that's an M right there in hieratic. You know what I mean? If I were to do it, I could say this is an F right here, even though, you know, I know that this right here is a letter I or a letter Y in hieratic. You know, I can say this is a cane right here, you know, even though I know this is a letter S in hieratic. You see, I can say this is an A, even though I know this is M and R. This means beloved right here. M and R, more, mirror right here, right? So looking at it just from that aspect alone, you can see exactly what I'm talking about on how easy it is to come up with different pictures and try to make them into these symbols. And that's what the Roman did. That's what the European did. And they got people fooled because people know that the pictures existed since antiquity. The symbols existed since antiquity. So if we can make you believe that they were the hieratic, then we can say, okay, this was the names they used. You know, and some of them look so close to the comparison to where they can convince you, you know, of certain things if you don't know no better. But when you know the fact that this stuff was transcribed during the 19th century, that rule out the ancient Egyptians being the ones that did it. And when you know that this is the original facsimile and not the pictures I showed you, this is papyri prissy right here. The real papyri prissy. The papyri of prissy. This is it right here. Look at it. Some of it in pieces. This is the real papyri. Why they ain't teaching y'all this right here? Since they know it so much. And I got something else I'm finna show y'all in a minute. I got to really drive this home until our people get it. I'm finna go into my transliteration. But I want to make sure y'all get this here. Look at all of this. This is the real papyri prissy right here. And it's been years I've been looking for trying to find this. And I could never find it because I kept using the term the Book of Tahotep and so forth and so on. And I was like, let me go and see if I put prissy name in. And there it was. I was able to find the source material. So if this is the oldest book in the world, and it was written in Hieratic, and I told you that Hieratic came before, the concept of them come up with their little Champollion alphabet. We know Champollion wasn't even nowhere around when this stuff surfaced. When this came into existence, Champollion wasn't nowhere in existence, family. So the thing is how is it so hard to get the people to understand exactly what's being said here? Some people are still trying to deny this, even though I done put the book in front of their face right here. They are still trying to fight this. Oh, that's the shorthand. No, that is not shorthand way of writing, family. What is shorthand for the pictures is what we call cursive hieroglyphs, which is really hieroglyphs, and then certain people be calling that hieratic, and that is not hieratic. It's just cursive hieroglyphs. You see, you have to know the difference between the two. And once you understand the difference between the two, you see, exactly what's going on, because they don't look like each other. When you put cursive hieroglyphs beside hieratic, you can tell the difference between them, family. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it again because I always show our people. But I'm going to go ahead and show them again because, we can't have our people. We can't have nobody, not having no insight and understanding over here. So before I go into this, you got to see all of this here. Here go my information right here. And I doubt we'll ever have this conversation, but hold up. This is the same thing I had waiting for Reggie when we were supposed to have a discussion, but I think he done seen this stuff and he don't want no smoke, so it is what it is. But this is the same chart I go back to all the time to show y'all people. I show you the difference between them. This is hieratic. These are cursive hieroglyphs. The cursive hieroglyphs are the same as the regular glyphs. So I put the cursive glyphs and the glyphs beside each other. Right? Now you got to remember, some of these pictures, were transcribed into, transcribed from these letters, meaning they went in here and seen what they could find here, and then they transcribed it into a picture that they could find on the monuments, basically. That's what they did. But this and this is two different things right here, family. They are not the same. They're not the same. Now this and this is the same. So when I tell you here, this is a script, these are signs and symbols. And how do you deal with this? Metaphysics. These are formulas, which go way beyond what they try to do. We tell you this all the time. So I say, do not confuse cursive hieroglyphs. I've been saying this for years now. Do not confuse cursive hieroglyphs with hieratic. They are not the same. You understand now? If somebody want to accept that after that right there and keep saying that's what it is, that's on them. I ain't finna argue with them. But I'm going to go right here and I'm going to read this again since I'm here. Do you see this, people? Old Middle Late Egyptian were written in hieroglyphs, right? The term hieroglyph comes from the Greek hiero, meaning sacred, and glyphica, meaning carvings. because the ancient Egyptian script was closely associated with temples of religious structures. Though several thousand individual signs are known, several thousand now, it wasn't several thousand in the beginning, only 800 were commonly used. In the beginning, they said it was really 700 signs that the ancient Egyptians had. Then the Ptolemies came along thousands of years later, and they created the other 7,000 glyphs. And when you mix them up with them, I always say you done lost the original message. That's just like coffee. If you water it down, it's gonna be weak. But it says most of the pictographs were derived from environment of daily life. They were reading the book of creation, animals, architecture, elements, plants, and tools. That's all they did. They was revering what was around them. They knew the science behind the animals by studying the animals. They knew the science behind the architectural elements, the plants, and the tools. You see what I'm saying? It says there was no word division and virtually no punctuation. Hieroglyphs could be written horizontally, vertically, from right to left or left to right. You can't write hieratic them ways. That right there let you know they're different. It says in rare cases they were written in retrograde. That is in reverse order from bottom to top. The orientation of the signs depended upon their placement and use. One can determine sign direction most easily by observing the animal and human signs, all of which will face the beginning of the line. That's the rules they come up with for reading what they did. Now watch this. It says because the elaborate hieroglyphs were time consuming, this is what they try to get off at. Old, Middle, and Late Egyptian were usually written in cursive script known as hieratic. No, it started out in hieratic from the Greek word hieratikos, priestly. See, that's when they try to put that thing in there and remix it on you. Hieratic was written in ink from right to left, one way, either horizontal or vertical columns. And now they're trying to commit, this is what they're talking about here, the cursive hieroglyphs. When they say written in horizontal, vertical columns, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about cursive hieroglyphs that they referring to as hieratic. You see them hieratic texts that I'm showing you, and don't now one of them got no vertical columns in them. They all horizontal. So it's a text that refer to scribal schools indicate scribes learn hieratic before progressing the hieroglyphs. So they try to make it look like the hieroglyphs had to be learned first now, but they're telling you that they learned hieratic before they dealt with hieroglyphs. And the hieroglyphs was actually a priestly language, in essence, that deal with a knowledge that only the priest would be given. And it didn't have nothing to do with learning the language as a spoken, because you can't speak hieroglyphs. It had to do with knowing the formulas behind them and the powers that reside within the symbols. You know, these are formulas to allow you to be able to exercise that heka. But it says, although it was often highly cursive and employed abbreviated combinations of signs and ligatures, the form of the script was firmly rooted in the more explicit hieroglyphs. The earliest extensive hieratic document dates back to 2600 BC. It says, and the latest to the 3rd century AD. And they talking about the Book of Ptahhotep right here. That's what they talking about right there. So the hieratic Book of Ptahhotep referred then which came first as far as dealing with actual writings. The hieratic. The hieratic. And we ain't got to keep going into that right there. So now that I done put that out there, now we finna get into the real nitty gritty. Watch this. You think that's something? Let's go back over here to the document that we had earlier, showing you the transcription. You're going to see what I call them in my translation. So these are all supposed to be the book of, Tahoe. This is called Papyrus BNF 186. That would be the number in the British Museum. See them right here? So this ain't no scroll here. This ain't no paper here. Didn't they tell you transcriptions was rewritten or printed out? Huh? So if these people know so much, then why they can't read hieratic? If this is the same thing, then why don't they know hieratic? See, this is their version that they created during the 19th century. They didn't create the pictures. They created putting these lines up here, really trying to act like that this was the original text. The pictures been existing, and that's how they fooling our people. Because when they see this, they automatically can't get past the fact that, well, they exist on the monuments. Of course they do. Duh. And that's how they fooling you, and they buried the hieratic under the pictures. And this is one of the most Masonic death blows that they could have ever done to our people, because they have you looking into these pictures trying to decipher them, all the while the papyri over here. And you ain't even been in the papyri. You don't even know what that looked like. I put this stuff in front of these dudes that been claiming they teaching murder net 30 years, and they got upset with me. He started cussing me out and everything. Smash Rockwell and Brother Reggie. You know, but they say they've been teaching the metal netter. You know, so when I brought this up, you know, they like, you letting them get up there and talk that stuff you supposed to do. And they was on there plotting on one of the pages they had. Yeah, I can't do it because, you know, Saw be getting on me, you know, so I can't show any bias. But anyway, I'm just showing y'all, family, this is transcription. And what we did, since they reverse engineered the hieratic into these pictures, we reverse engineered the pictures back into the hieratic. But in the process, again, we're going to show you the errors. And that's what I'm going down here into this document. This is the same document we started with earlier, giving you the background and the history. And then we're going to go to my transliteration. So check this out. Let me get on down here. Where y'all at? Okay, a little bit. I'm almost there, people. I'm almost there. I'm finna show y'all the errors, because this document is pointing all of them out. It tell you who made the errors. It show you what they did, how they did it, when they did it, and everything else. You know, so the numbers don't lie. Okay, here you go. This is where it started right here. And boy, oh boy, look here. In hieroglyphic transcription, I do not preserve a position of certain horizontal signs in regarding the height of the line, e.g., you know, and this right here is actually, that's actually Eric. Okay, let me see here. But it says, I arrange these three signs not in the middle. It says in the bottom, it says the hieratic sign is transcribed, which is supposed to be this symbol here and not as this symbol that they have over here, this picture. Since the papyrus is dated Dynasty 12, which this sign already occurred in the inscriptions, and they show the use of these things, and they're talking about the L2 causes excessive graphic forms in the hieroglyphic transcription, which correspond to a single sign in hieratics. I do not point out errors in cases where the author arranges the signs, ignoring the script sign order of the original. So if you look at it, you know, like they showed how in this place it's seen like this in their little transcription, but then in the other place it's right here. You know, like for example, they talked about, you know, the initial phase, and this right here actually, you know, is Sabiate Intmir Nectar Tahotep. Sabiate Intmir. I transliterated that. That's why I know what this is. Sabiate Intmir. Let me show you right here. This is what they say it is now. And they translate. I'm going to transliterate it back into its original hieratic. But you're going to see they got some errors in what they was demonstrating. So it says in red ink, it says Contra Venue, Allen Carrier Preposition, black ink, first edition, 1847 photo. Facsimile. Now they're getting into the facsimile. Now let's show you some stuff. This is a prime example of what we're talking about right here. So they take these pictures. This is the transcription. This is the original. So they took symbols they think look like, you know, certain measures and say, okay, but this is the man right here. And they say, well, this is the feather, you know, and this is the letter R, and this is the letter N right here. You know, so they'll break that down and say, okay, reading it from this particular way, because this is the way they're supposed to be spelling. You can't read hieratic, you know, from what you call it, right to left. You read hieratic from left to, you read hieratic from right to left and not left to right, pardon self. So what happened is wherever they say they facing, that's the way they say they reading from. And so they would tell you that, well, this is R, this is N, and this is Y. So they say this is Rennie. And I keep telling them, you know, I can do this foolishness that they be trying to do, but I know better because this ain't meant to be read like these are formulas, these are pictures. They got deeper meaning behind them. You know, this is metaphysical measures. This is the language right here. You see? So this is the real alphabet, so to speak. This is the R, this is the N, this is the Y. You know, this is, you know, the indicator, so to speak, that they transcribed into this. You understand? Once you understand that, you get it. But then in some cases, they didn't even do that properly, right? They'll show you who did it and who didn't do it. You know, they show how Prissy proposed, you know, the R right here. And they actually have this thing here, but this is really a T, or more like a TS, a TCH sound, chit sound. This right here is what they would say in their alphabet now. I'm not saying this is a T. I'm telling you this is what they would call this a T. But right here, it's supposed to be a letter R. And it's not the same symbol here. So this dude pointing out all the errors they done went in here and made, you know, in these documents. It's a whole bunch of them on every line. He telling you who did it. He calling it out. You know, all up in here. Showing you that a lot of this stuff don't correspond with what they were talking about. Right here. This whole document going through here saying this right here, family. Then they tell you this right here was a scribe error right here. They saying the scribes was in error. Now, how would they know that if they wasn't back then? But that's a whole nother message. But they show right here on how certain, in the facsimile, it has certain things, and then you have signs that be omitted and taken up out of here. You know, they change certain things up. Like, for example, look at this right here. This is their transcription. Now, right here, you see a star, you see a bird, star bird, see a man with a stick, man with a stick. You see, you know, the watermark, and you see like a container here. Over here, they have what is an open mouth to them in a container. Now, this is supposed to be a letter R in the normal, and this is the N. So that automatically will change if this was supposed to be a word, the meaning. So that's a big error that's being made. You see what I'm saying? So all you got to do is just go through it. It's showing you what was omitted. They show you how this was, certain things was took out, and they tell you who omitted it, who took it out of there. So even if they come up with a transcription, like look at this transcription right here. See how they have this right here supposed to be the hand. Now they'll say this is a letter T, this is a letter G, and this is a letter A. That's what they would tell you now. You know, but when you come over here, look, now they're saying this is a T or G, and then they got the little chick. These are two different signs in the hieroglyph, because normally this would represent the letter W according to them now. Not me, according to them. They say this is W. Then this right here is an A. So that automatically would change the total different meaning in regards to dealing with the word. And they did this throughout the whole thing, family. So you cannot trust. You can't trust they transliterations going off of it. They don't went in here and remix this thing, people. They don't remix. I'm going to show you a prime example I came into when I started transliterating. It almost held me up a minute. So, you know, they're showing the same thing here. You know, prime example, another measure here. This right here will be mess according to them, not me. I'm not saying this. So don't say Commission is reading the glyphs and saying they can't be deciphered. That ain't what I'm doing. I'm showing you the errors and I'm telling you what they say it is. So they would say this is Mesu, right? This is supposed to be MES. This is the S, and this would be the U according to them. You understand? Not me. But look over here. They got a little man with his hand in his mouth right here, right? 3 strokes. On this particular one, they got a woman over here in the place. So that would change the whole expression behind what they're trying to claim is a word. All it takes is one letter to change a word. You know? If I took the word dogs, you know, and then I took the G out, you know, it ain't going to be dog no more. It's going to be something else if I replace it with another letter. You see what I'm saying? So, that basically kept showing all the errors that were made, in these documents, namely this book, Atahotep. So their translation and transliteration is really untrustworthy. You understand? It's untrustworthy. And that's why you're going to see I went in and did my own transliteration after reverse engineering it back into its original text, which is the hieratic. We're going to make it plain for y'all. So, we got to stop believing something because somebody, look at that. Carrier omitted, the aisle in their demonstration. Omitted the little chicken. They omitted other stuff, So, like, I mean, I ain't even got it. It's really overkill at this particular point right here. I don't want nobody to think I'm bullying nobody. So I'm just showing you. And this thing goes on and 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 on. So they tried to come up with a methodology and say that it was the methodology of the ancestors. It looked good, but we know that the hieratic is the first, and all they got to do is admit it. But they ain't gonna admit it because they want you to believe these pictures. And they did this because this was the way of the European trying to come up with, a systematic approach. You know what I mean? Like, so for they would come up here and say, this is Keta, Ms. Sebi, I eat. That's how they'll come up there reading like that right there, come on, this is netter, this is netter, tef, and all that foolishness, So again, this is the original. We can't say it enough. This your original papyri right here. This is what they reverse engineered from. We know it because this is the papyri. Look at it. Who gonna check that? Who gonna argue? Who gonna argue against it? So now let's go into showing you some of these translations they came up with. I'm gonna show you what they did. I also got let me see, I'm gonna pull my transliteration up now. But I'm gonna compare it. I want y'all to see what's said here first. I'm gonna go to our brother Asher Hillard's measure. And this is it right here. This is his book. Y'all seen this book. See, our brother, unfortunately, he was only working with what he had. And to be honest with you, this is just decoration right here. That's all it is. Decor. Book decor. Like he put it on the wall. So this is the oldest book in the world. Book of Tahotep. This ain't even the whole book. This is just a few measures out of the book. And I'm going to show you how he started off because this is the part that I actually transliterated. The first few lines of it anyway. So let me go to the statement that was made here. This would be the first portion of it, right? Okay. Here. This is the way he ran this down. I'm going to show you something. Open this all the way up. He said, these are instructions by the mayor of the city, who is also the vizier. Now, you know that word mayor is really mir. That's where the word mir comes from, which also means mir actually traces all the way from Kemet all the way up into the English language. Remember I told y'all mir means overseer? And if you seen me and Smash had a conversation, he swore up and down that mir don't mean overseer. You know what I mean? You got many different definitions. You got mir as it relates to overseer. You got mir that represents also the water. You got mir that represents the land, Tameri. And you also have mir that also represents the pyramid, So, and it means beloved too. So this word, when we look at it, mir, based upon the signs that's being used, they all have a connection to either the man, the land, the station of authority that a man holds, or the pyramid. I don't care what nobody say. You can trace the Moors back to all that, because the pyramid to us represent the temple of perfected man. The official to us, instead of saying mayor, we use the term, executive ruler. We use magistrate, because actually the word magistrate is connected to the root word mayor as well. And then it says vizier. Vizier is where the word wazir comes from in the Arabic language. Wazir, that's a position, that's a station, which goes also back to al-sar in the sound shift, uzir, because the V is interchangeable with the letter U, and then the Z is interchangeable with the letter S, and you have the E&R, that's usir, and then if we go back to the A, we say A-S, right? Then we have the A-U-R, al-sar, all of them represent a position or a station of power and authority. So anyway, this word vizier was chosen here, so they are saying these are the instructions. That's the sabait. That's what that word means. Mir, right? You heard me say it. Sabait mir it nature. You see? So it says these are the instructions by the mayor of the city, who is also the vizier. His name is Tahotep. And he serves under Pharaoh Asa, who lives for all eternity. You're going to see that Asa is spelled a totally different way as well. The mayor of the city, the vizier, Tahotep, addressed the supreme deity as follows. I want y'all to remember this, because we're going to go into my transliteration of the same thing. And honest to our brother Asher Hillard, but I don't know where he got some of this stuff in here from, because some of this stuff was definitely added into the text. Like God upon two crocodiles. It don't say that in the original text. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Reference to Heru, who is sometimes shown standing on two crocodiles. I know what he making reference to, but that's not in the text. You see what I'm saying? My God, the process of aging brings senility. I understand what he was saying right here. I understand in his transliteration what he was trying to bring forth. But a lot of this stuff was added in here that ain't got nothing to do with it either. He said, my mind decays and forgetfulness of the things of yesterday has already begun. I see what he's saying. He was trying to make, what he came across in his transliterating, sound plain. I see what he's trying to say. Feebleness is coming, weakness grows. Childlike one sleeps all day. The eyes are dim and the ears are becoming deaf. The strength is being sapped and the mouth is grown silent and does not speak. I stopped right there. That's where I stopped. So we got similarities in our transliteration. The only thing I did is I went into our Moorish language and transliterated what I did. But some of the stuff, like with the crocodiles and all that stuff in there, it wasn't in the text. That's something that he put in there. I just got to be honest with you. We got to be real. We can't be, disingenuous. That's our elder, and I believe he meant well. He meant well. He wanted us to have our own particular version. But even the book that he have is not the whole of the transliteration. This is just a few lines. And I'm pretty sure he may have not even dealt with going into the Hieratic. He probably just took the European version and reworded it in the way that he did. And then, because I don't see him in here saying that he translated or transliterated none per se. But some people would say, okay, yeah, that's a translation or whatever. But so looking at that, family, and understanding exactly what happened, now we're gonna go to the European version. They got their version too of the Book of Tahotep. Let's see what they say. Remember, they say they got many versions. All of them say different things. Okay, so this is where it starts at here. Let's see how similar it sounds. They say, once hearken to the gods, I pray thee let this thing done, and sin may be banished among the persons of understanding, that thou mightest enlighten the land. Said the majesty of this God, instruct him then in the words of old time, that he may be a wonder to the children of princes, that they might enter in hearken with him, and make straight all their hearts in discourse with him without causing weariness. He's saying something, that's way different than what the brother said. So it's a total different transliteration up here in the way that he bringing it off. And then it goes further here. begin the proverbs of fast speech spoken by the hereditary chief. And we see our Grand Secretary of State actually pointed out some of this stuff in her demonstration. You know, the Holy Father, beloved of God. See, that's that mirror. Remember I was talking about the mirror? Eldest son of the king of his body, governor of the city. Instead of using the word mayor, now they saying governor of the city, the vizier. See what I'm saying? Tahotep. When instructing the ignorant in the knowledge of exactness and fair speech and the glory of him that obeys, shame of him that transgresses his son, he said, you know, and then he went into be not proud because thou art learned in discord with the ignorant man, you know, with the saved. This is totally different than what our other brother was saying, though they starting off at what's supposed to be the same part, the beginning of the document. So this is where we end up having problems at, family. You know what I mean? When they saying that a book is a book, and then one book is started, and this is doing the same thing though, that the Papria Prissy showed that the page that we read now was found on page 4, right here. Let me pull it back up for you. Let me go up here and show it to you. What they transliterating, it should have been this page if it was the first page, because both of them was the first page of both of them books, even though they said different stuff. You know, certain words you can see where they were trying to say something similar, but they got different stuff they come forth with. So this would be the first page here. And this is not saying none of the stuff that they saying right there, because the page that they were supposed to be transliterating from the first is actually right here. This is supposed to be the first page, but what is it doing down here in the 4th section? Somebody got some explaining to do, because this original facsimile. This is what I transliterated. Now I'm finna go into it right now. You know, and I also have another text right here in the maxims here, and you're gonna see that they don't even say a whole lot of the stuff they said. You know, and I found this after I transliterated what I transliterated, and we pretty much had the same expression. Only difference is mine is a Morse expression. We know they dealt with, again, the transcriptions, which is really what is hiding the hieratic. So we reverse engineer these pictures back into the hieratic as they are, and then you have the true meaning. See, they say the instruction of venerable mayor vizier Tahotep under the majesty of the king of up in Lower Egypt, Essesi, living forever unto eternity, right? Right? Then they say, saith he, sovereign, my Lord, as infirmity arise, old age descends. Remember they talking about the old age, misery and weakness, return afresh. One drowses in discomfort every day, and eyes severely poorly, ears strained to hear. You know, vigor on the wane grants me no relief. The mouth is quiet, and he does not speak. You know, yeah. And it goes on, the heart is void and recalls not yesterday. It's talking about growing old, so to speak, right? But I stopped in my transliteration, and right after I got done, I ended up finding this. And I seen, like I said, a lot of this stuff was similar. But you see, it's different from the other 2 transliterations that I showed you. But they the certain aspects of this right here, going back into the reverse engineering and looking up the words. This was my transliteration right here. Where is it? Where is it? And I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to go step by step. I said all that to bring you here. Matter of fact, I want to do it this way because I don't want it jumping all over the place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here and get the actual PDF that I created. That way it's not, when I expand it, I ain't pulling stuff across the screen. So let me open this up. I thought I had a copy open already. Let me see. I guess I didn't have it up. I thought I had it on, but I'll go back over here and get it though. All right. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. It take a lot of patience to do this right here, family. Like I told the Grand Secretary of State, just finishing it up. I was up till 8:30 this morning. I ain't really get but 2 hours of sleep. That's how we be putting in work over here to bring this information to y'all. So if y'all be wondering how you be getting all this information, that's what I be doing. I be up 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get this stuff to y'all, family. Well, 8 this morning, so probably end up laying it down after I get off of here. Who knows? But then again, I'll probably be wide awoke. Give me a second right here. Okay, where you at? PDF. Just had you in here the other day. All right, we know how to pull you up. I know how to get you up out of here. Okay, I don't want to do that. We finna get you right now. There you go, right there. Is that it? No, that went back into the. Oh, I go here. Okay, hit this. Then I come over here and I find it. Let's see. That's it right there. No, I ain't trying to replace it. I'm trying to open it. Okay, there we go right there. So here we go right here, family. This is my transliteration of the first 4 lines, and I did keep the lines up there. So I had to recreate, this in order to make it legible so that y'all can see it. So this is Sabayit here, and I'm gonna show you something off rip. You see how they got this star right here down here? In the original facsimile, it ain't no star down there. Even though this is Seba, this is another expression. They chose to put the star there. You see that right there? That's one of the things like your boy be pointing out in that other document I was showing you. So this is Seba. This is A-Y-Y-T, Sabayit, right? This is the scroll, the majet at the bottom. Grand Secretary of the State pointed out. You don't have to mention this. So I wouldn't say Sabayit Mejet. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that. The Sabayit, dealing with the wisdom instruction, the scroll being synonymous or symbolic to that, alluding to that, but this is what we call the indicator. The European go up there and call it, this is that and this is this, and so Sabayit, and this is int. Int, this is E-N-T, int, and this is mir. Sabayit int mir, right? Mir, M and R, and there it go right there. See, Sabayit int mir, right? And then we have mir nechet. Mir nechet, this word here, nechet. See, this is the net right here. This is cha, which is TH. You see, and then this is the T. You see, and then this is Ta Hotel. This is T, right? This is PT. This is H. And this is Hotel. This is the other P. This is actually Hotep as a ligature, so to speak. So this is Ta Hotep. So this is Sabayit int mir nechet Ta Hotep, right? And then they have an indicator here. You see? And if you look at it, reverse engineering this byte, like I said, I corrected this. This would be, your Seb, and then look at how they try to reverse engineer these symbols into some of these things. Like I said, you can get away with trying to make it seem like some of them look like this or that look like that. But in all actuality, this is the original language right here. This is the Medu Ray Incomet. This is Medu Netta. They have 2 different functions. This deals with metaphysics, mathematical formulas. This is the actual language that the Egyptians spoke. You make no mistake about it. You know what I mean? They say, read it, Commission. I'm reading it now. You see? So then again, when we come to this special measure right here, like I say, Sabet Intmir Tahotep, right? Then this is Shepsis. This is actually an indicator, they say shepsis or shepsu, noble. This is the noble. Okay. So then this is her, him, her, him. This is H, her, him, right? And then her, him in this suit, right? Her, him in this suit bit. This suit bit actually deals with, again, the rulers, the pharaohs, some people like to call them. And this is Isese. Remember how they said King Asa? It's not Asa, it's Isese. See, that's the Y or the I, that's SS, and that's I. Isese, right? So I have it here, Isese. And then we have Unk Jetu. Unk Jetu, our Grand Secretary of the State, just put that up here. That's the Jet, and this is actually W. Jetu, right here. And they say Ray in their other transliteration, but I see an N at the bottom, so it's not Ray, it's Ren, according to the document, And then we have in the last portion, Ren, Neh, that's Neh, Neh, this represents time, And so that's why when we go into the breakdown of it, it says, then Sabait, the divine wisdom instructions, you know why I put divine wisdom, because that's the language we use in our Moorish measure, right? Divine wisdom instructions, Sabait, right? Then we have of the noble magistrate, an executive ruler. Instead of saying mayor, instead of saying overseer, I chose the Moorish terminology and said noble magistrate, because we have a chapter on the magistrate and subjects that teach how magistrate is how to rule. Magistrate is also another root that goes back to the word mayor. You see, so you're still dealing with the same expression. So the divine wisdom instructions of the noble magistrate and executive ruler Tahotep under the theocracy of the Sultan, because Sultan is the word they use for king, which actually gave birth to the word Sultan. See, the divine wisdom instructions of the noble magistrate and executive ruler Tahotep under the theocracy of the Sultan of Upper and Lower Kemet, not Egypt, Isese, endured forever unto eternity. This is how we started off right here. So this is the Medu Ray Incorrect facsimile excerpt that I came back and reproduced so that you can see it better. I want you to see sign for sign that this is exactly what it is. I didn't make this up. See that right there? That's your A. This is your Seba here. This is your A. This is your Y. This is your T right here. See the T up there? I had to reproduce this right here. See that right there? And what I did is I went to the 12th dynasty in our Akutu. So, because that's when this right here goes back, to most of this, these signs, that look at these documents. So here it again, here it is. This is the int. See the int here? I reproduced it. I reproduced it exactly as it is. You got to be careful when you do this, because if you make one mistake, you can change the meaning. This is mir, sabayit, and mir again, and then this goes into the net. There it is. See the little circle right there? The dash, look at the long line. Same thing. There it is. That's your cha. That's the T there. Look like a T. This is the PT, which is Tahotep again. Ta. This is the H, ho, right? Hotep. T, PTH, Hotep. That's a symbol for Hotep. That's the ligature for Hotep. And this is the P at the end of it. Tahotep. And there you go again. That's your symbol for Shepsi, the noble, and again, this is your her, him, that we added right here. That's what that symbol represent, that ligature. Two signs together, a biliteral, and then we come over here. We got Nisut. Inisut. Inisut. Right here. And you see the same thing. The way they got it up there is the same way I got it. See, we're matching one for one up here. Like I said, it took some time. Nisut bit. Nisut bit. Like I say, sometimes they'll translate that as Pharaoh. So they'll say Pharaoh Asa or Pharaoh Azesi, instead of the Nesut bit or the king Asesi. You see? So then we have this portion here. You know, that's the name of Sessi basically. Right there, that's the ISSI again. And I again put it here, ISSI. You know, and then up here, you know, this is Ankh Jed, right? Ankh Jed U, right? Right here, you know, and then we come over here and we have Ren. Like I say, they have Ray in the transliteration I showed you before this, but I see Ren because this is the R and this is the N up under that. You see? And then we have here, you know, Neh. That's Neh. You know, that's actually a word that refers to, you know, the determinative, you know, Neh. So, Jed Reneh, right here, Reneh. You know, so that's the first line. Now, what I call this at the bottom, we got what we just brought forth in what we call the Medu and commit transliteration and translation. So in the pseudoglyph transcription, that's what we call them from now on. You heard it here first, because we already know exactly what they are. So this is your pseudoglyph transcription down here. This is the original. Kamisha, you made that up. I did make this right here, but it's based off of this right here. So I didn't make it up. I made it from the original. You see, if they were transcribing anything, they should have been trying to, you know, go better into seeing how these were improved upon the hieratic instead of trying to replace it with pictures. You feel me? So y'all done seen us in here, Scribes, go into this document right here. So we don't want y'all asking us no more, read that for me. You know, all that type of, cause we can read it. Okay? And we ain't saying that trying to be funny. We just saying, let's stop it with the nonsense and come together and learn. You see? So here's my second line. This is line 2 right here. In the same thing, you know, Medu and commit facsimile excerpt, right? We started off right here with Mir. This is actually Minetcha Atahotep. So this is a ligature. So automatically, once you become refined, you can automatically recognize the literature. They didn't even put the ligature in their transliteration in the other document where the guy translated. So he left a whole portion out. He left this whole thing out of his transliteration, you know. But this is, again, Metnecher, Tahotep. This is the same thing that was here, and I'm going to show it to you. See it right here? That's the line we're talking about right here. But it was already up here in this line, right here. So this is a ligature, you know. So if you see this, and you look at the documents enough, now you know what Tahotep looked like. If you ever looked at a hieratic papyrus and you see this, you know that's Tahotep right there. You see? It's said 2 times. Tahotep here, Tahotep there. You see? So anyway, it goes on. It has the Shepsis, or the Shepsu, like what my name, Sheduamenti Shepsu, Noble, you know, also Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Shepsuel. You know, so anyway, this is Jet. This is the Jet. That's actually Jet and a T. So that's DJET, Jet, which we have right here. See, Menetcha, Tahotep. So, you know, it ain't strange that they even use the M and the R in this oldest document. I ain't even think about that. The Mir in the oldest document of Kemet. Mir was there. Now go find the word Negro, black, and colored that correspond with anything in this book right here. I'll stop transliterating the hieratic if you can do it. But anyway, so Jet here, this is again following up behind that. This is actually F right here. Jet Ifit, Nebi, Tini, Neptini, Kepre, El How. And this is it right here. There's your F. This is Iti. That's what these 2 symbols represent. Iti, Iti, right? And then we have Neb, This is Neb, right? And then we have Tini, and then we have all the way into the word Kepra, Neptini. When you read that out, Neptini, this is Neb, right? Then we go to I. This is T, N, R, N, Tini. And then this is the I, not R, N, but par himself, N, I. And then this is the I here. And then you see the special one that is indicator. And then this is Kepri. Kepri, I, Kepri, Ray, some people say. Kepri. And then this is A, W. Again, there's the indicator in between it, which I use as dashes, and this is H, Ha, A, W, Ha, then Ah, Ha. Some people don't put that there, but I put it there because it was, there. So nevertheless, Menechet, Tahotep, Jet, F, Iti, Nebitini, Neptini, Kepre, Ilhoha. And this is, saith he, the noble magistrate and executive ruler Tahotep, sovereign, my lord, as infirmity arrives and old age descends. So, we getting into the old age aspect. We ain't even worrying about the pseudo transcription. We can show you on the 1-for-1, just like we showed you up here, that we definitely went with what was in the text. We didn't make no mistakes up here. We already know that's the Tahotep right there. But if we go letter for letter, we see that I copied it properly, family. I didn't copy it sloppy. I copied it properly. But you see why I had to do that. I can look at it and read it, but it's better when you take letters out. And this is actually how you embed the letters in your mind. See right there? Everything 1-for-1. 1-for-1. See what I'm saying? 1-for-1, family. 1 for all for one. Look at that. All the way through here. I did this. I was careful. This one I actually had to crop out because I couldn't find it. The ligature, I couldn't find it in my Aku, so I had to go to my molar tool. See there? Letter for letter, family. So we ain't missing damn beat. It took some time, but we got it done. So like I said, down here, you'll see, their transcription of the hieratic, but the hieratic is the original, so that's irrelevant. Here's my third line. My third line is with you, Ihu, Header. Our Grand Secretary talked about that. He said Heru, Mawiz, Jitter, Nef, and this is K. It's pronounced as a K. Kevjera, Radneb, Erti, Dinisu, Ankwe. That's basically what that said. Misery and weakness return often. One is sluggish in discomfort every day. Eyes serve poorly, basically. The sight is gone. Somebody's sight. This is talking about growing old, remember? So anyway, here it is right here. This is your W. See, that's the W there. That's the GG. This your GG right here. This is your IWW. Right here, IWW. This is I. See? And then this is H right here. Ihu, that's W again. Right? Then we have header right here. Header. That's the HR, the Heru. This is the symbol for that same head, with the dash by it, or the head that the Grand Secretary of the State was showing of the man. This is what they try to transcribe, this from this to that particular picture here. So it says Mawiz, and that don't look nothing like the head of a man. But anyway, we ain't got to go there. So anyway, it says your nef, right? And then this is Kadr Raneb. You know, and it goes on all the way through here, family. Like, we can't make this stuff up. You know, we go letter for letter all the way to the end, you know, and it's basically the same thing. So, same process here in the fourth line that I did. And this is Emiru, you know, which we can find up here as well. Emiru, right? Then we go into what we call Pati here, P, T, well, let's say pot, a pot, and this is the H, and this is the T, Pati, right? P-H-T, Y, here, right? There it is right there, here. You see, same sign I showed you a few minutes ago. That's Ak, that's the A, Q, sometimes can be interchangeable with the K right there, you know? So then we have Ni, this is Ni, Wurdu, right here, Wurdu, right? Wurdaru. There it goes. And see, this D is interchangeable with T, by the way. You see? And then it has Eb. This is Eb here. Eb. Right? Eb-E. This is I. Eb-E. Then we have Ra. Right? Ra. Then we go into G. Again, you know, in the R, GR right here. Grow. Ni. Right? Ni right here. And we have Medunef. Medunef. And this is the Medunef right here. To Nef. Medunef. So this is ear strange to hear, vigor on the wane, in the sluggish will grants him no relief. The mouth is quiet and he does not speak. You know what I mean? In other words, it will read from the top so far, you know, starting from the top, it will be the divine wisdom instructions of the noble magistrate and executive ruler of Tahotep under the theocracy of the Sultan of Upper and Lower Kemet, Essesi, enduring forever unto eternity. Saith he, the noble magistrate and executive ruler Tahotep sovereign, my lord, as infirmity arrives and old age descends, misery and weakness return often. One is sluggish in discomfort every day. Eyes serve poorly. Ears strained to hear. Vigor on the wane, in the sluggish will grants him no relief. The mouth is quiet and he does not speak. So this is showing you the aspect of growing old, basically. Is how it starts off. You know, but again, they didn't have this in this area, and I had to find it because when I started my transliteration, I'm like, what in the world is going on here? This don't say nothing about what that's saying. And then I went in there and I found out, oh, here go the real page right here. And that's why I excerpted and put it here. So, you know, this is a beginning of my transliteration of the book of Tahotep. And just because I make it look easy up here, don't mean it's easy, family. You know, you got to really put in some work to do this right here. You know what I mean? That's just 4 lines right there. But we show you that we can read the hieratic, we can transliterate it. We done showed you the proper aspect of dealing with this thing now. So we shouldn't have to argue about this. At least we ain't going back and forth with nobody else about this right here. You know, we just going to do the work of what we're doing now and continue to transliterate until we complete it. And then we're going to bring you forth, you know, the Moorish book of Tahotep. You know what I mean? That's where we at with it. You know, so this and a lot of other projects that we're working on and getting ready to bring forth to our family. So I'm going to show y'all something else too. This is just a brief measure on my Facebook page because I just posted this the other day. And this also removes all that. I don't mind citing old E. Wallace Budge. Because one thing about him, E. Wallace Budge will tell you the truth. He said what he did, he was no expert in the Egyptian language. He said that it was mere guesswork. Yeah, but one thing about him, he'll tell the truth. So I don't mind going into his work. See what it tell you here though? Uh-oh. Let me go back. How in the world did that thing that come up there? No, man. Let me go back in there again. Sometimes I think I be moving too fast for myself over here. But give me 1 second here. Okay. Y'all be sure to check the video out too we did on the Cubalon, the indigenous name of the continent of Africa. Because that's a powerful method. We went all up in the linguistics there. We showed you what a Cubalon is. So, okay, there we go right there. So this is coming from Bud's book. So we already know what these are. We know this is the transcription. We ain't tripping. We know that this comes from Hieratic. But look at what he tells you. Medu Netta, hieroglyphs, words of the god, thought, right? Medu Ray and Kemet, word of the mouth of Egypt, Egyptian language. So one is the word of the god Tahotep, and one is the word of the people of Egypt. Medu Ray and Kemet, this is the name of Hieratic. You see? Medu Netta is the name of the pictures. There's a difference between the two. One is a language of the god, and one is a language of the people. You see the distinction between the two. So if you confuse it after that, that's on you. I ain't gonna fight you over that. I'm gonna let you stay over there with Rome, and we're gonna keep doing what we do. You know what I mean? It don't get no plainer than that. If I give you all these sources and I make it plain like that right there, and y'all still don't want it, you just want to stay in darkness, and I ain't gonna fight you about it. So at this time, what we gonna do, we gonna go ahead and call up our scribe, starting with our Grand National Secretary of State. I know she got that scimitar on the manifest. Islam, goddess and queen. What you think?
Woo-wee. Dr. Shaheed. Oh my goodness. Yes, you make it look easy. I tell you. But that I know you put some powerful work in, because when you had sent us the facsimile that Dr. Bati Bey was working from, it was difficult to see. So that in itself was a blessing. When you brought forth these degrees, and having already risen, giving praise and honor where due, we can see now the importance of who is telling his story or who is revealing history. And when you brought forth the transcribing, which we know is done at the hands of Rome to try to redirect the course or bury things or what have you. And this is their MO, this is their pattern, as opposed to us going right to the source of what our ancestors wrote and being able to transliterate and translate ourselves. That in itself just gives such a powerful feeling of race pride, however you want to term it, but to know that what actually was put forth by our ancestors, forefathers, and foremothers is what we are bringing back to life. So no one can come to us talking about Hieratic is some dead language. You want it to be dead. You buried it like it was dead, but we are exhuming, just like we have the exhuming of a nation, we are exhuming this is special language and it belongs to us. So this is powerful, especially when you dealt with Censar and being able to show that as the missing link to all of these other languages that derive from it. And this is what one does not want our people to know, so this is powerful. And, when you speak about stop the madness, like you said, if one wants to continue on down the path of ignoring the truth, now that it's out here, and it's brought forth by the Moors here in this new era of time, then peace and blessings be upon you. We're not upset or mad, but the thing is, it's due time that we rediscover what is ours, and I just can't wait. It's such a blessing and an honor. Again, much gratitude for the work that you put forth. And I love the way that you present it in reference to here's the original. Here's what they have in the pictures. This is what they say. And when you were interpreting out of that book that Rome came forth with, it almost sounded biblical, and trying to keep that same his story demonstration out there, as opposed to the actual speech of what our ancestors brought. In essence, words of wisdom coming from on high. So gratitude for that, and then putting in Moorish demonstration, it's just a blessing. So I'm charged up, fired up, and gratitude for the blessing. Peace and love.
Islamism, peace and love. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. We go back to our Moorish Holy Quran and we just look at the language our prophet used. Okay, we deal with instruction. So what kind of instructions do we have? Instructions we have. We have holy instruction and divine instructions. And so when we translate, we can choose either use the term holy instruction or divine, but it's still the prophet's words. You know what I mean? And then when we go into using the word sluggish, instead of getting weary and drowsiness and all that right there, we using that Moorish overtone, coming straight out of our Moorish Holy Quran. So we using our Moorish Holy Quran for the translation. So when it come back, it can't be but what Moorish. We love you, Grand Secretary of the State and the Tribe of Endurance. Praise be to Allah, and we just doing our work, because this is what we were born to do. Islamism. Well, all right, let us call. Is our chairman present? Because I know he got something to bring forth. Hearing the prophet language all up in here like that coming out of Kemet. Man, please.
Not at this time, Dr. Shaheed. Gratitude.
Islam. Well, honest to our chairman, because he transliterated the language in the book of fire. If they ain't got it, they ain't getting it. Okay, Islam. So let's open up the floor for all the scribes and see what they have to say about the mission. Did they have any clarity of? Did we shed any light? Islam, scribes.
Islam.
Islam. What about you, babe?
Islam. Though I didn't go as deep as a goddess did, because she bring the fire with it. You hear me? But what I will say is this: with that information, and that document, the Hieratic master script, it made me think about ayat out of the Moorish Holy Quran. Excuse me, out of the Quran of Mecca, and it makes sense to why those pictograms are used, but it's referencing how a lot of people don't know. And this ayat is Surah Al-Baqarah, and it says, "Then Allah taught Adam the names of all things and presented them to the angels and said, if you are right that the appointment of a vicegerent will cause mischief, then tell me the names of these things." It says, the nature of man's knowledge is such that he requires information of different things through their names. And so when we're looking at the decipherment of what was brought forth, you showed that it ain't nothing about what these ones think they know. And when you go in and you actually do the research of what, the re-engineering of what they put out there, it shows that how drastically they tried to change the narrative of what our forefathers and mothers had brought. You know what I'm saying? And it really speaks to the fact that everything is a sign and symbol. Even when you're looking at the world, when you're looking at your life and you come across a bird, that's a sign, a symbol that's telling you something. It's not, we just typically don't pay attention. And so if we do pay attention and we are able to read the nature of not just nature of things, we know the nature of ourselves as well, because we correspond with all things in existence. And so with that, I leave us a coming peace, Islam.
Islam, grand man, that's right. And it's right there, even in our Moorish Holy Quran. When it tell you about all life is thought activity. And it talks about, everything that came into being, protoplasm, plant, beast, and everything. So this is what we mean when we say read the book of creation. And so once we understand this, like they say, we keep telling our people, they're wondering, well, where do you get the methodology from, and so forth and so on. But then when we go into the teachings as they came forth to us, we got them. We already showed you the methodology. We showed you that we demonstrate, the Sabaite, in the way of the ancestors. We got the whole breakdown on it. We got a whole drawing where we went into that history and background of that. So like I said, it just boiled down to what people are willing to learn. If they're willing to stay over there with Rome and that's all they want to know, that's all they're going to know. But if they want to really grow, then they'll do the work. And that's what we doing. We doing the work. We uplifting fallen humanity. We put it out right here, Brother Bati Bey, remember? In this particular work right here. Let me present this real quick. They asked us, well, how's your methodology? Where does it come from? We got all that right here for our people. I'm gonna hit the entire screen because that'll pull it up right here. Let me open it up a little bit more. Okay, now right here, remember this one right here? When we were showing them how we do it, the Egyptian Adept Sabaite wisdom teachings are holy and divine instructions concerning the Medu Neter, El Hedget Shepsis Reab Tu Ali. Signs and symbols are for conscious mind and men of understanding. So when we look at it from that aspect right there, then we understand, well, right here, master question from our Moorish Science Adept questionnaire. Can Allah speak to man? Yes. How many ways does he speak to man? In a still, small voice, he speaks, and he who speaks is still. You don't talk like you hear me talking right now. How do we look at the image of Allah who speaks within? There you go. By looking into the face of man. Heru. What is the other way Allah speaks to man? By the voice of man, and not an oracle, any idol. Now it's as I'm speaking to man. So right there is showing you the difference even between the concept of what we call Medu Neter, the language of God, and the language of man. You see what I'm saying? So, once we understand that, we see our methodology has always been our Moorish Holy Quran. It said, fear not to lift the sacred board, the tablets of the law, or the ark in the ark concealed. Take them and read them well, for they contain all the precepts that man will ever need. And in the ark, the magic wand, for they contain all prophecy, lies waiting for your hands. Hand is symbolic to the mind. It is the key to all hidden meanings of the present, future, and past. The cherubim have guarded well for every soul its treasure box, and whosoever will may enter in and find his own. And that's dealing with the meaning of silence. Then it just tell us the silence is what we find, being able to get the language of the great God, that comes through contemplation. So then when we enter into the adept chamber, in that order, look at what it said. This is Yehoshua receiving the mystic name and number and pass the first brotherhood test. Now, the master said the Logos will give heed to what I say. No man can enter into the light till he has found himself. Go forth and search till you have found your soul, then return. The guide led Yehoshua to a room in which the light was faint and mellow like the light of the early dawn. The chamber walls were marked with mystic signs, with hieroglyphs and sacred texts. And in the chamber, Yehoshua found himself alone, where he remained for many days. He read the sacred texts and thought out the meanings of the hieroglyphs and sought the import of the master's charge of finding himself. Now, what does thinking out the meaning of hieroglyphs have to do with him finding himself? See, that's the methodology of understanding Medu Neter. That's the methodology of being able to listen to the silent voice of God that speak within. That's the methodology of looking into the face of man and seeing Allah. A revelation came, and he got acquainted with his soul. He found himself. He was not alone. Now notice, he wasn't given no dictionary or nothing to go in here and read these signs and symbols. He had to think out the meanings. He had to contemplate. He had to come up with the metaphysics of it. He had to come up with the esoterics of it. He had to come up with the spiritual of it. He wasn't given no ABCDs and EFs and Gs. Next one, third brotherhood test. The Logos waited 7 days. Then he was taken to the Hall of Fame, a chamber rich in furnishings, and lighted up with gold and silver lamps. The colors of its ceiling decorations, furnishings, and walls were blue and gold. Its shelves were filled with books of masterminds. See, all this is really referring to that which is within, because your greatest library is that which is above your neck. That's one they can't burn down. That's one they can't destroy. It says the paintings and the statues were the works of the highest art, and Yehoshua was entranced with all this elegance and these manifests of thought. He read the sacred books and sought the meaning of the symbols in the hieroglyphs. There's the methodology again in the adept chamber. Our methodology is right here. This is the same methodology of Horapollo, the same methodology of Pope Clement at Alexandria, Carrimon, and a couple of more of them prior to Champollion coming with his remix. Excuse me, did I say remix? Next one, Yehoshua takes the 6th degree and passed the 6th adept chamber of the Eastern sages. In all the land, there was no place more grandly furnished than the beauty of the pillars of the temple of the sun. Few students ever entered these rooms. The priests guarded them with awe and called them halls of mysteries. And what is our work here? To comprehend the chemistry, to demonstrate the ministry, and manifest the mystery of man. The chemistry, the ministry, and the mystery. These are 3 degrees that we go through as we unfold in life. And that's what makes us adept. And we got the methodology. Last book, 7th degree of the adept chamber of the dead, the mysteries of Egypt. The senior course of study was now opened up, and Yehoshua entered in and became a pupil of the Hieratic, and he learned the secrets of the mystic lore of Egypt land, and the mysteries of life and death, and of the world beyond the circle of the sun. And when you understand how to read the book of creation, you understand the world beyond the circle of the sun. And it's summed up right here in our chapter on religion. He hath endowed thee with reason to maintain thy dominion. He hath fitted thee with language to improve thy society. He hath exalted thy mind with powers of meditation to contemplate and adore his immutable perfections. So when you're looking at the glyphs, when you're looking at the book of creation, when you're looking into the nature and essence of everything in creation, that's the methodology. When you're dealing with the pictorial, you see how much more superior that is than what Champollion came up with. Then we go to the holy instruction of the prophet: know thyself, weak and ignorant as thou art, O man. O man, humble as thou oughtest to be, O child of the dust. Some people know that's Africa. It said, wouldst thou raise thy thoughts to infinite wisdom? That's what you got to do to read the book of creation. That's what you got to do to deal with Medu, the language of God. You got to raise your thought to infinite wisdom. Wouldst thou see omnipotence displayed before you? That's Medu. Contemplate thy frame. Look at how you made. That's Medu. Ain't that what Yehoshua just did when he went through the adept chamber? He was told to contemplate itself, contemplate within, and then understand the meaning of the symbols. Know thyself. You are the temple of perfection. The glyphs are inside of you. See, that's the real adept teaching behind this demonstration. And I just quoted this right here. Chapter 15, Moorish Holy Quran. This right here telling you everything. Same thing we talking about. From Allah's own record book, we read the triune Allah breathed forth and stood 7 spirits before his face. The Hebrew called these 7 spirits Elohim. Eagle, lion, ox, and man, huh? Add the he to it, and you got some divinity up in there. Now you know what cherubim and seraphim look like. We got pictures that show you that too. Oh, did I say they found them in the temples of Samaria and upon the pyramids, and not the pyramids, but the temples of Kemet? It said, and these are they who in their boundless power created everything that is or was. These spirits of the triune law moved on the face of the boundless space, and 7 ethers, 7 others were, and every other, which is ether, had its form of life. These forms of life, it says, were but the thought of Allah clothed in the substance of their planes. Men call these ether planes the planes of protoplasm, of earth, of plant, of beast, of man, of cherubim. If you put that in pictorial form, that's Medu. These planes with all their teeming thoughts of Allah, in order for you to comprehend it, you got to think. You got to be the strength of Allah made manifest. You can't become strong mentally without thinking. They are never seen by the eyes of man in flesh. Carnal eyes can't deal with Medu. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshy eyes to see, and still they constitute the soul of things, the essence. And with the eyes of the soul, all creatures see these ether planes and all forms of life. If you understand the methodology, you too can see with the eyes of the soul. Because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of Allah, and all creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. And in their native plane, all creatures are supplied with nourishments from their ethers in their planes, and so it was with every living thing until the will became a sluggish will. We were just talking about it a few minutes ago in our transliteration, right? And then the ethers of the protoplasm and earth and plant and beast and man began to vibrate very slow. The ethers all became more dense, and all the creatures of these planes were clothed with coarser garbs of flesh, which men can see, and thus this coarser manifest, which men call physical, appeared. And this is what is called the fall of man. But man fell not alone, for protoplasm, earth, plant, beast were all included in the fall. The angels and the cherubim fell not. Their wills were ever strong. There's Medu that represent everything we describe in here. And so they held the ethers of their plane in harmony with the law. Now when the ether reached the rate of the atmosphere, it says, and all creatures of these planes must get their food from the atmosphere, and conflict came. It says, and that which finite man calls survival of the best became the law. The stronger ate the bodies of the weaker manifest, and here's what we call the carnal law of evolution had its rise. And now man in his utter shameless strikes down and eats the beast, and beast consumes the plant. Plant thrives on the earth. Earth absorbs the protoplasm. That's depicted in Medu too. Young in the kingdom of soul, this carnal evolution is not known. And the great work of masterminds is to restore the heritage of man. That's what we're doing right now. To bring him back to his estate that he had lost. Do you know that the word Akibalon actually means estate of the earth as well? That's the whole thing, huh? When he again will live upon the ethers of his native plane. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. The manifest of life on every plane unfold in the perfection of their kind, and as their thought of Allah can never die, there is no death to any being of the 7 ethers of the 7 spirits of the triune Allah. And so, an earth is never plant, and beast, it says, a creeping thing is never man, and man is not and cannot be a beast or bird or creeping thing. The time will come when all these 7 manifests will be absorbed, and man and beast and plant and earth and protoplasm will be redeemed. That's in the Medu too. If you understand the stories as they relate to coming forth by day. So, and last but not least, in the Grand Quran of Muhammad, it was written, and we know Allah speak to man in 2 different ways. But it says here, it is not given to any human being that Allah should speak to him except through revelation, or from behind a veil, or that a messenger, an angel, be sent to him who reveals to him by Allah's leave whatever he wishes. He is all high and most wise. So these are the ways that the great God Allah speaks to man, through revelation, from behind a veil, through signs and symbols, or situations, circumstances, or he sends a messenger, a man. Allah speaks to man through man. So yeah, this is powerful, family. It's very powerful. This is just a rundown on the commentary of that, that speaks on how the great God Allah speaks to man, and we'll read it in closing. Commentary on Surah 42, Ayat 51. In conclusion, the same thing which the discourse began is reiterated. It's the use of Ali, by the way. Commentary. To understand it fully, please see the first verse of this surah. And on it, it says, here, Wahi means, and Wahi is the word translates into revelation, Wahi. It means to inspire somebody with something. So this is one of the ways Allah speaks to us. He inspires us with something, our situation, and it moves us. You ever heard of the light bulb coming on or something? You just had this hinge to want to do something. That's called Wahi. That's inspiration. Or to show something to somebody in a vision. As it were, prophets, Abraham, Joseph, they were shown certain things in vision. Joseph definitely had a methodology, same one that we use. That's why Pharaoh favored him. He was a chief interpreter of dreams. So he was able to read signs and symbols. What his methodology was. It said that is, one may hear a voice without seeing the speaker. Just as it happened in the case of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, when he suddenly began to hear a voice from a tree on Mount Tor. It says, while the speaker was hidden from him. Then it goes into the surah. See Surah Taha, ayats 1148, Surah An-Naml, ayats 8 through 12, and Surah Akasas, which is ayats 30 and 35. It says, this is the form of Wahi by which all divine scriptures have actually reached the prophets of Allah. Some people have misinterpreted this sentence and given its meaning. Allah sends a messenger who by his command conveys his message to the common people. But the words of the Quran, fi yuhiya bi idini hima yasha, he reveals by his command whatever he wills, which show that this interpretation is absolutely wrong. In other words, Allah can reveal it how he want to reveal it. The prophets preaching before the common people has neither been called Wahi anywhere in the Holy Quran. It says, nor is there any room in Arabic for describing man speaking to another man openly by word of Wahi. But it says lexically, Wahi means secret and swift instruction. Only an ignorant person will apply this word to the common when preaching by the prophets. It says that, here it is, that he is far above, let me move this out of the way, that and he should speak to man face to face. His wisdom is not helpless that he may adopt another method of conveying his instructions to the servant of this other than speaking to him face to face. So Allah speaks to man through man at the end of the day. So that being said, Moorish kin, we got the methodology. We just showed you that, and it's confirmed by Grand Quran. It's confirmed, by the Moorish Holy Quran. So we good with that. We good with that. And we can prove it and unprove it. So at this time, we're going to open up the floor for our brother Marvin Edwards Bay as we get ready to close this demonstration out. Islam, grand man. If you're speaking, we can't hear you, brother Marvin Edwards Bay.
Islam, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Grand class. Covered a lot of ground. Just grateful for being here. Peace and love, boys. Islam.
A gratitude, Islamism without the schism. Well, all right. Well, being that we done set this demonstration out, as we have, is there anything else that our scribe would like to bring forth before we close it out? Questions, comments, anything, and we going to the third heaven. We already in it. We going to the elevated aspect of it. All right. We're going once, going twice, and family, we thrice blessed. This was a grand class today. we encourage our family to go back and look at the playback, because if you don't get it, it ain't meant for you to get right now. Don't mean you won't get it later, but we definitely went in detail of what actually happened, how things happened. We got the original source material, primary sources, and like I say, you can't go against that unless you got a source to disprove it. And that don't exist. I done searched high and low for it. Islamism without the schism. At this time, we can close it out. Get an honors to our scribes. Want to close out, Brother Bati Bey?
Islam. January 15th, 1929. A warning from the prophet to be read at every meeting. Hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings towards the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive the reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their car button, cease wearing their turban affairs, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they must do their part in protecting the prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Chapter 25, A Holy Covenant of Asiatic Nations. You are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Peace. Great class.
Great class. Gratitude. Peace and love.
Islamism. Goodness gracious.
Woo-wee.
Yeah, we got to get us some rest now.
Yes.
We ain't going to sleep now.
It's smoking.
Islamism. Praise be to Allah, Moors. We in the Papri now, so most of the time y'all see us family up in here. That's where we at with it. In order for y'all to go into learning, the processes, we got the videos on here, but we got to keep it moving forward. Because that's where we continue to be refined, and we can keep bringing this quality information to you that has not been brought to you yet. So Islamism without the schism. We love y'all. I want to give honors to our family checked in, our Charles Warrior, Facebook user, Born Dog, Sister Divine Angel Wisdom, Sunshine L, Tarif Bey, Yaqub El Hamid, Yamil Bey, Tarif Bey, Noble Brian, all of y'all. We give honors to you. Jet Saneb, life, health, and prosperity be upon you. And may we all be able to tap into the wisdom of the Sabayat Intmir, Tahotep, Islam. All right. Peace and love. See you Moors in Sunday school.